morning and welcome. Still in Wales, so croeso, or however you say that word. And welcome to the Talyllyn Railway. Let's take the hood down a second. So today we're not on the Talyllyn Railway as such. We're not going to be going on the train. Done that many a times, but that's not for today. We're going to be going a little bit further. At one time of day, the Talyllyn Railway used to go further. So I don't know if you know the Talyllyn Railway. When it gets to its current present day terminus of Nant Gwernol, it stops. It used to then, the slate from the quarries that the railway was for came down an incline. It came down from a pretty substantial quarry at the top of the valley. So we're going to go and have a look. We're going to go and have a look what's up there today. So today we're in the southernmost reaches of the Snowdonia National Park, and yes, it's raining again. And we've come to look at a major part of the story of the Talyllyn narrow gauge railway, shown here in yellow. From left to right, the line climbs from the Welsh coast at Tywyn into the hills above Abergynolwyn. The existing line today goes as far as Nant Gwernol. However, it's this abandoned series of lines east of Nant Gwernol that we're interested in today. The Talyllyn Railway dates back to 1865 and is one of the jewels in the North Welsh narrow gauge railway scene. The line was primarily used as a means of getting slate from the quarry to the sea at Tywyn, although passenger trains did run as far as Abergynolwyn. The quarry closed in 1946, and although the railway seemed destined for closure in 1950 upon the death of its then owner Sir Hayden Jones, it became the world's first preserved railway, with the first services operated in 1951. Is it summer yet? Oh, these hills. I've not even come that far. Oh, that's certainly got the blood pumping. So that down there, that's the Nant Gwernol Gorge. That's what gives the terminus station its name. That's pretty loud, that gushing water there. I can tell you we have had some rain overnight. The roads were under some water driving here this morning through the valley. And as you can see, it is still hammering it down. But this is my last free day in Wales today, so I've got to come and do this. I didn't want to leave without making this video today. I've been quite excited. That is some force of nature down there, isn't it? I hope you can hear me over the sound of the water down there. It's really loud, really echoing down the gorge. So yeah, the quarry we're going to today. Welsh people, please forgive my pronunciation on all the videos I'm doing this week. Bryn Eglwys, is that how you say it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure I struggle with Derbyshire names. I've got no chance here this week. Little bridge now crossing over the gorge. We're about to come up to the start. Sorry, I'm panting. Bit of a climb up there. I parked in Abergynolwyn, half a mile down the bottom. I just walked up. So there's a gorge down there. Look at that. I'll just let you watch that for a second while I recover. So, as I am in a different location, anyone who's not watched my videos doesn't know what I'm about. I basically do exploring. I like disused railways, canals, that sort of thing. Anything that's got a little bit of history, we can look around. Something that's a little bit unusual. I love stuff like that. And I love finding these old tramways. So here's Nant Gwernol station. Don't look that way, that's where we're going. We'll get up there in a minute. So this is the easterly terminus of the Talyllyn Railway. Lovely little railway. If you've never been here, well worth a visit. It's the oldest preserved railway in the world, is it? I think it's the world. train due any minute now. Pure coincidence, obviously. I say I'm not going on the train today. I did come on the train when I was here last, and the time before, and the time before that, so I'm quite familiar with this little line. An old carriage over there. That's looking down the line towards Abergynolwyn. So yeah, like I was saying, this is as far as the railway goes today. This little extension was put on in the 1980s. It was restored in the 1980s. But previous to this, from Abergynolwyn, I believe it used to be a tramway up to here. And you'll notice here, here's the end of the line, little buffer stop. And look up there, and you can see straight going up there is an incline. So to get up into the quarry via tramway, a series of inclines. Here is a map of the quarry and the various tramways, inclines and footpaths that can be found on one of the downloadable guides on the Talyllyn Railway website. I'll keep showing this map as we make our way round so you can keep up with where we are. I'm more or less going to be following the blue marked path, which is the signposted route that goes deepest into the quarry. The first incline that we'll see is right at the end of the Nant Gwernol platform. Originally, where the station was a series of sidings. Now let's get those calves working and climb up that incline. So this first incline was called the Altwilt incline. Probably saying that completely wrong, so I'll put the name on the screen. I think it was only a little short little incline. Certainly steep. And at the top, I do believe we've got the remains of an old winding house. So it was a gravity fed, as you could say, incline. Still got the gorge down there. And this last little bit of the incline, put in some steps. So I was lying. That's not the last little bit. We've got another little slug. I can see the winding house just appearing, but can't get over, but you can see we're on a little edge here. It's on the side of the gorge. Here's the top of the incline, so look how that drops. It's like a roller coaster, isn't it? It's off the end of the earth. Good, they've left a few little tracks in place there, double track. So as wagons went down, they pulled the empty ones back up. It's brilliant. In here we've got one of the mechanisms here, just lying at the side, and the tracks now. Just get a feeling, imagine, I don't know if people rode on the trucks, no idea. Just how that drops away. I don't think I'd want to be sat on those trucks, if I'm being perfectly honest. And there up there, you can still see the wooden drum on the winding equipment. Just teetering on the edge there. Wow. The cables still attached, rope cables, and whatever that was to the side, look, goes all the way up. Absolutely fascinating. And the tramway goes off in this direction that we can follow now. Whoop, falling over the tracks, still there. Hey. If we look at this information board just underneath the winding house, we can see them there, coming down on the rope there. So it's just explaining that they had a brakeman that had a job of controlling the descent. Right, so let's continue deeper into the quarry now and see what else we can find. At the top of the first incline, we follow a half-mile section known as the Goldtrip Mold-Free Tramway, which clings to a narrow shelf. Just look how we're just going and teetering on this little ledge. It's got a big cutting on this side. This little ledge has just been carved in. And that's a long way down there. You wouldn't want your train going off down there, that's for sure. So I don't know if these have been put in after, just to show the path up, but we do have what look like bits of wood going across. Possibly sleepers, I don't know. They do go across the full length of the path, just every now and then, just spot some. So this one's definitely sleeper, because it's still got spikes sticking out there, you can see. Some plates here. Just keep your eye out for things. Spot a little bit of rail. So there's so many paths going off in every direction, it's difficult to know which way to go. I don't know if I think this is the start of another incline actually. In fact, that's an incline, isn't it? Look, straight up there. You can see that's out of bounds. There's a fence with a sign on. We've got a little bridge here. Can you hear me above, next to another really loud waterfall? Wow. And that's a little bridge. Look at that. Any closer, I really don't want to fall in there, do I? So here is that Cantry Beth incline on the map. At the top of the incline was the lower mill, now demolished. We're really climbing into the quarry now. Look at that, isn't that stunning? Two gorges meeting there. That's going back down where we've just come from. So it says here, the Quarrymen's Trail, a fairly strenuous walk with long climbs and steep descents. Highlights include expansive views of Cader Idris, that's a mountain, waterfalls and the ruined mine workings of Bryn Elgwys Quarry. Sounds like my cup of tea. Said it was a strenuous walk, they're not wrong. It's quite a climb. We start to see evidence now of quarrying, slate quarrying. You can see a big wall of slate there. So the incline we saw down at the bottom, it's in those trees somewhere. I'm assuming it's going to the top. We're really coming into the clouds now, still climbing onto a track. Station down there. So looking at old maps, doing a bit of research, I knew it was going to be difficult to try and piece and identify what's what, because as you can see, it's trees, and these were all planted after the quarry. So it's covering up, I suppose, a lot of what you'd expect to see if you look at old maps. A lot of the buildings had been dismantled many years ago. How beautiful is this? I've not seen another person since that steam train pulled in, and nobody got off that anyway. It's finally stopped raining. I can dry off a bit now. I think I've got more wet from having the coat on. Sweating coming up those hills, to be honest. I think we're coming up to some buildings and some structures up here. Have a look what's around the corner. I mean, look at this. It's definitely something that's made its way through here. This is one of the inclines, perhaps. The size of these walls definitely feels like this is some kind of cutting. Something's either gone over on top or gone underneath. Let's have a just nosy what's down here other than sheep. Could have been an incline, I suppose. There's a bit of a straight. Indeed, it was an incline, and this is the Abergynolwyn incline. I doubt I'm saying that correctly, but we can see those two walls of slate there on this photo, and that's the lower mill at the bottom. And if we zoom in on the lower mill, we can see that land just to the right hand side there was old tramway sidings. So if we just check the map, we can see our bridge there, and as well as the tramway and the incline going under that bridge, there's also a line going over the top of it too. Sharp descent down there. Suppose the path that we've just walked on, that could have carried on and come over the top of here. Perhaps. But stunning views nonetheless. Just when you think we're pretty high, it goes up another level. But look at this view just coming into the left hand side. Find a bit with less trees to show you. Trees, trees, trees. Let's find an opening. Look through there, the size of that. You can only begin to imagine the working conditions of how they managed to get the slate out of there. They are some huge quarry faces. So it's just a bit of information about the Bryn Elgwys Quarry. Just about some of the working conditions. So looks like the path's going off this way. Onwards we go, deeper into the quarry. I think this shut around 1950, and we see from round my way where all the collieries that closed in the last half of the 20th century, just how quick the woodland takes over. I mean, you think you're just walking through some kind of forest rather than a quarry. An old building in there, a couple of old buildings actually. Just have a quick look. If there's something to do with, I don't know, little doorway down there. Yeah, more climbing. Look at that blue sky. Thank you. And the views just keep getting better and better. Is this another some kind of ridge? It'd be easy to use the imagination, but you can definitely see there's some kind of bank in here. It's all fenced off, unfortunately. So I can see why it'd be unsafe. There's a lot of loose slate on there. We've got another old building in front of us. A retaining wall just there. Stunning, it absolutely is stunning. Another information board just to keep the uneducated like me up to date. So here, yes, here we go. I was right, this is a tramway. So we had a water wheel here. I presume that's what I'm standing next to here. I'll show you in a minute. So we're deep into the business end of the quarry, and lots going on here with old buildings and inclines coming thick and fast. We're standing between the boundary and short inclines. I would assume that these parallel brick walls were part of the winding drum from the boundary incline. See structures all around. Like buttresses. Another old, well, it could be the top of an incline, because look, not sure. We've got some kind of mechanism here. And when you look behind me, that looks exactly like an incline, doesn't it? So it could have been where the winding drum sat on that, just like we saw in Bryn Elgwys Quarry in the Peak District, isn't it, that? So we're starting our descent down from the top end of the quarry now, and this is the Cum incline. I think I'm saying that correctly. Now I believe cum is the Welsh word for valley. So I'm glad to be descending.
Our quarrymen are very orderly set of men, not given to heavy drinking and debauchery. Almost all subscribe to a weekly newspaper and can converse intelligently about current affairs. During dinner times, there are always debates, especially on a Monday when they talk about the Sunday sermon. At election times, debates get heated, but you hardly hear any swearing. Most are deeply religious and keep Bibles in the barracks and for lunch break reading and religious debates.
So we've got a post on its side here with an arrow straight on, so I don't know if it means down there or up there. I don't know if this is another incline or not. So that's the other side over there, the other side of the gorge. You can see where we were walking earlier. I'm gonna try this way just because it looks a little bit more fun than carrying on down that logging road. Great spot for a bite to eat, I think, but I've got to get back. So we've got a choice to make here, long route, short route. Now I'd like to do the long route, but I think more of the things I'm looking at are down there. That's the way back to the bottom of that second incline where we started to climb up the other side of the gorge. So I'm going to head that way and head back towards Abergynolwyn. Right, so that's the circle complete. That's where I've come down. I'm back here, look. So that little bridge and that second incline that we saw. Wow, what an incline that is. That's so steep. So back down the tramway, back to where we came. And I'm just going to have a look round a few more things going down towards Abergynolwyn. So back to the top of the first little incline we did now. And there's the winding house again. I didn't notice when I came up. Look at that little window boarded up. That's got a bit of overhang there, hasn't it? Just coming the long way down now from the forest, from the quarry. In between Nant Gwernol, Abergynolwyn's just behind me there. We're just about to cross the railway line here. So there's a train due any second now, so I'm just gonna have a wait and see. But there is just one more thing I want to show you. I don't know if we can get close to it or not. I know you can from the railway. Let's have a look. Somewhere along here was another incline going down that way. So we've got the little town of Abergynolwyn, which is at the bottom of this little track that I'm following back down where I've parked. And that town was set up basically to house the quarry workers. I've got a path down to the station there. I might go and have a look at the station. Was set to house the quarry workers. So that's what the little town of Abergynolwyn was for. And there was an incline that came down from just in front, just the line down there. And the winding wheel, I believe, is still on its side. They had to knock down the winding house to get the train through, to get the line through when they extended a few years ago. Yeah, so there is one more incline down to the village, and I don't think there's any evidence of that we can see, but I think it's just worth mentioning, and I'll show you it on a map as well.
And here is the map, but I think we get a better view of the line and the incline from a view of Rail Map Online. And we can see the Railway Inn pub there that we saw on some of the opening scenes of this video. So here's a few shots of the tramway and some wagons down in the village, in the square in the middle of Abergynolwyn. And here's a view of that incline going from the town at the bottom up to where the Talyllyn Railway is at the top of the hill. So what's different about this incline from the other ones that we've seen on this video is that it wasn't to transport slate down, it was for supplies in and out of the town and the quarry.
Tell you what, it's boiling now. I started the video in torrential rain and I'm finishing it now in beautiful sunshine. So that's it. Just been onto the lovely quaint little Abergynolwyn station just to see the train stood in the station there. So I really hope you've enjoyed that little look at a bit of history that's attached to the Talyllyn Railway, because it's not something I certainly don't see mentioned enough about that quarry. I've not seen another person since leaving Nant Gwernol station to getting back to Abergynolwyn. I've had the place to myself today. Don't know if that's because of the weather or just because it's not a popular thing. I really don't know, but it really should be, because that was spectacular in there. I could have spent all day in there, packed a packed lunch and come home at sunset. I really could. I'm not a professional, but I hope my enthusiasm come across today, because I've absolutely enjoyed every minute of that explore today. And I think that's it from Wales now. That's going to be my last bit of filming I do here. I've had a brilliant holiday. You never disappoint, Wales. Every time I come, it's always a brilliant experience. So I'll sign off. I'll say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Cheers for subscribing. If you're new, I hope you stick around. So take care, and I'll see you soon on another video. I'd have to get my breath back. Oh, Croeso. I don't know whether you say that word. Stu suggested on Facebook that I get some kind of sponsorship or some wet weather gear back me for my videos, because I always seem to be out in the rain. I was thinking more along the lines of something like the Noah's Ark, the pub in Crooks, something like that, which ironically is also at the top of a massive hill. I'm climbing up here for the second time. You have to excuse me today. Whoop, falling over the tracks, still there.